Hey, this is Coach Chal and welcome to another video. Now this one is a very special video because I'm thinking of doing it annually depending on investments, but I'm going to be looking at, is 2020 the best year for roller coasters? I'm not going to make a decision until the end of the video. So I sort of wrote down the 10 big things around the world. I tried to be fair, include the UK as well because there's some exciting stuff going on. That's on this list. There might be some stuff that you think, oh wait, maybe this could happen, but it's not on your top 10 list. Don't worry, I'm still looking forward to it, but I'm just going to mention the top 10 things that I picked out. So we're going to get started straight away then with California Great America's 210-foot hypercoaster. Now, this was cleared up on Instagram by Amusement Insider. Amusement Insiders? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they watched a couple of videos apparently. Now they've said they replied to my Instagram comment on their story, and I said, Is California's Great America moving forward with this hypercoaster plan? Because if you don't know the history, basically the original plan was to do a 236-foot tall attraction. Many people predicted a hyper, and then the plan changed from 236 foot to 210 foot, and then the plan sort of stalled and sort of got cancelled a bit. But apparently, according to Instagram, at the last stockholders call back in November in 2018, apparently CJ are moving forward with the expansion, so it's so glad to see that. So what we knew about the project from the original idea, whether that's changed or not, I'm not too sure. The project's set to include a steel and like a new steel structure from scratch, and it's going to be standing where the Peanuts pirate attraction is. And from the looks of the map, if you rip out the go-karts track, that also sets the layout perfectly. So again, it'd be great if California's Great America will do this. This is all part of their 20-year master plan, apparently, which includes a family wooden coaster, a launch coaster, a slingshot ride, a water ride, all these different things included in the plan. So we could see more than one big investment to this park in the future. Moving swiftly on then to the rumoured Giga/Giga Wing, I know that's been talked about a lot, for Kings Island. Now, Kings Island looks set to be one of the parks in the Cedar Fair chain to get roller coasters indefinitely. Now, Firehawk was a Vekoma Flying Dutchman that was removed at the end of the 2018 season, so that's officially been gone now. This sort of Giga Coaster looks set to take the site of Firehawk and the old Dinosaurs Alive site. But there was also an extended bit of site that they could also use, so I don't know, it depends what kind of layout they're going for. Now, of course, there were some early rumours about Outpost 5, and, you know, number 5 is alive, and many people thought, oh, it's going to be RMC Son of Beast. No, I don't think it's going to be RMC Son of Beast. I know I was sort of speculating for a while that that teaser might lead to it, but it could be a Son of Beast themed Giga Coaster or Hyper, probably Giga. But to be fair, the Giga Coaster has been rumoured for so many years. People have been wanting the Giga Coaster for so many years, and the fact that they're on the verge of getting one is brilliant. Now, I've thrown two names for this coaster, and I've taken on board the idea it could be themed to Son of Beast or themed to Outpost 5. Revenge of the Beast and Beast Unleashed. I prefer Beast Unleashed because I think that'll be a perfect name for a Giga Coaster. The Beast is Unleashed 2020. That would be perfect. And it took the hat off to Son of Beast in a way. So it makes both parties happy, if you know what I mean. So moving on then to Hershey Park. Now, is this a Giga? Is this a Hyper? It's like that old question of, oh, is this dress black and blue or gold and white? Or whatever it was back in the day. Alright, we're a massive debate. But this is sort of a biggest debate of Hershey Park fans. Is it going to be a Giga or is it going to be a Hyper? We haven't got any details as of yet. The name's not been released. They just say it's going to be the tallest, fastest, longest and sweetest. Bit of a Hershey Park pun there. So this is set to be part of a brand new sort of entrance plaza called Chocolate Town. There's been a news report, I didn't report it in previous videos, that they could be using a temporary entrance for 2019 while they rework that entranceway and bring in a brand new entrance 2020. Of course, they've got the brand new entrance gate, and then this hypercoaster is going to be right there on it, right in front of the entrance gate. You can see it as you come in with the big Reese's fountain in the middle of that turnaround, and Oh, it's going to be beautiful. So whether it's a Hyper, whether it's a Giga, I don't care. I think Hershey Park are going to do a fantastic job with this. I think they're going to do brilliant with this, and I think Hershey Park. Many people are saying, is a Hyper the best choice they could have gone for? I would have to disagree. I think a Hyper was the best choice to go for because Hershey Park needs a signature standout coaster, and many people would say, oh, they've got Skyrush though. Skyrush is a standout coaster. Why would you want to top that with something that's kind of similar? I can kind of get that in a way because Skyrush, if you don't know Skyrush, basically it was invented in 2012. It was their 12th coaster. And it was sort of a Intamin style wing coaster. It was like a I won't say hyper wing, but it was a hyper wing coaster. But the fact that they're getting this B&M hyper sort of makes it better in a way because Skyrush is sort of the vice captain to Captain B&M. So Skyrush is still a standout signature coaster in the park, but this coaster just makes it just that little bit better. Again, don't know what the name is, don't know what the theme is. I'm guessing by the Reese's fountain, the white fountain, it could be themed to sort of Reese's, or it could be themed to chocolate in general. I don't know. Could be Infusion for all we know. Don't get any ideas, Blackpool. Yeah, but I think, anyway, Hershey Park will do a really good job with this investment. So let's get straight on with the next one, and that is the Busch Gardens Williamsburg multi-launch Intamin shuttle coaster. Now, this has been rumoured for a while, apparently, and there's been a lot of talk about this multi-launch. It's set to go about 76 miles per hour, and this is set to be the rumoured Project Madrid. So there's set to be a final drop that can be seen from Italy and the Rhine River, and many people have said it's going to be either similar or a clone of Soaring with Dragon. Now, if you don't know Soaring with Dragon, it's a coaster over in China. It's a multi-launch over in China, and it is incredible. It reminds me of the Park Asterix 2021. Or in fact, no, Soaring with Dragon was ahead of that. So in my eyes, Park Asterix 2021 coaster sort of reminds me of Soaring with Dragon a bit. Some of the elements in the Park Asterix one can be taken and mixed with the Soaring with Dragon elements, and bam, you've got Busch Gardens Williamsburg 2020 coaster. But I think whatever it is, whether it's going to be named, whether it's going to be themed, we still don't know this stuff yet, but I think either way it's going to be fantastic. Now moving swiftly on to Williamsburg's sister park, Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. And this is RMC Gwazi. Now Gwazi was a dueling GCI. It was one of the worst rides in the park apparently. And they sort of left it closed for a couple of years. And now they finally gave the teasers out, you know, that Gwazi will return into a hybrid because it's had a rocky ride. That is the most broad-minded teaser. Like every single person knew what was coming when you said those words, rocky and hybrid. You knew what was coming. It wasn't going to be even though GCI has brought in their inverting dueling coaster concept, you kind of knew what was coming. It's RMC Gwazi, and they finally confirmed it. It is going to be RMC'd. Whether it's a dueling, whether it's a Mobius loop, I'm not too sure. But I can suspect that this could be the best coaster in the park. Some people are going to debate it between RMC Gwazi and Kumba, which is their steel sit-down coaster by B&M, Bolliger and Mabilliard. Some people pronounce it Bolliger, some people Bolliger. I pronounce it Bolliger, but I pronounced it wrong that time. But many people say Kumba or RMC Gwazi. In my eyes, I haven't experienced Kumba. I'm not sure when it's going to be before I experience RMC Gwazi at all. But I've heard some decent reviews from Kumba, so it's going to take a lot to top Kumba in the park. But I think RMC Gwazi could do the trick. RMC do some fantastic stuff, and I think that it'll be a good fit for the park. I think this could be one of the best coasters in the park, probably the best, depending on how it rides. So let's move on then to something over here in the UK that's been rumoured for a while, and that is Project 2020 over at Thorpe Park. Now, this could be RMC, it could be GCI, it could be a B&M Hyper, it could be a Giga for all we know. But I definitely feel like this year in fact, 2019, the 40th anniversary, is a filler year for Thorpe Park, just to focus on the anniversary, and then we're going to get this massive Project 2020. We kind of knew, we pretty much knew Project 2020 was coming to Thorpe Park. It looks as if it's going to be their first coaster since the Swarm, the B&M Wing coaster back in 2012, which was of course built on a brand new island, so that could hint towards it being on a brand new island. There's been many rumoured sites for this coaster. There's been the rumour of it going back towards Manor Lake and doing a hypercoaster around Manor Lake and having the station start sort of before. There was rumours of someone wanted to speculate about a GCI layout, possibly replacing Bush Barbecue and the I'm a Celebrity sort of site, and they sort of showed like an Instagram drawing of how that would fit on the site, and it actually fits, but I'm not sure how it would work. Some people are still saying Loggers Leap will get ripped out, but many people are now saying, me included, that Loggers Leap's going to stay, or whether it's just going to get the trees cleared and it's going to get spruce up, ready for 2019, it'll get reopened. Many people are saying that, so I'm not going to rule out that site either, because it's now, many people are 100% that Loggers Leap's going to go for a new coaster, but now we're sort of 50-50, possibly leaning 60-40 in favour of it staying at the park. There's been many talks about other sites. There's been an island near Stealth, between Stealth and Swarm. There's talks of a new island being created with a new coaster for there. So there's plenty of ways they can go about with this Project 2020, but whatever it is, I think it's going to be fantastic. If I was to make a prediction now, I think judging by the early poster of Project 2020, when you had the hills on the dry, with like the road, and then you sort of like the bridge rails, like you're driving over a bridge in your car, and it sort of looked like the hills. I think it's going to be either a Hyper or a GCI. I'm not going to rule out RMC, but I think it's very unlikely now. So let's move strictly on then to an RMC that is definitely happening in Europe, and that is Energylandia's Zadra. Now, I've been told numerous times that Zadra is not the final name, even though it does look likely that it could be. Zadra is, of course, Polish for Splinter, weird name for a coaster, but we'll go with it. But I still don't think it's the final name. Now, of course, I did that earlier video where I said it could be pushed to 2019 opening, but of course, it's just rumours at the minute, so we're taking it as 2020 speculation. So Zadra, it is an RMC. It's like the love child of Goliath at Six Flags Great America and Wildfire at Colmarden's. It is fantastic, absolutely unbelievable. Cannot wait to see this thing being built. It's the world's first ground-up iBox RMC. There's never been a ground-up RMC by iBox track. All the iBox track has been conversions. It's never been from scratch, so be interesting to see how they use this concept. Energylandia is really going for it with their coasters, with their investments in general. They're thinking of the family market and the kids market, but they're just really going all out with the thrill market. Energylandia, if the UK and Europe want an answer to Six Flags Magic Mountain, it's Energylandia over in Poland. And apparently, according to travel websites, Poland is so easy to get to from the UK, so Energylandia is definitely up there on my bucket list for getting to theme parks at some point, because I want to experience Hyperion, loads of coasters out there. So Energylandia is definitely on my bucket list for theme parks to go to in the near future, and I can't wait to see Zadra just finished, complete. Like I said on the previous video, I'm not going to go too much into detail with the previous video, but basically I just rounded off saying I don't want it to open in 2019 because I want the whole area completed by 2020, including the RMC, so I'd rather have it the full experience rather than just experiencing the coaster around a construction site, if you know what I mean. So I'd rather have the full experience. But moving swiftly on to Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, I'm going to straight away mention I don't think it's going to be a T-Rex now. Got a couple of comments, and I agree with them now. And I saw the interview. RMC say they want to sort of build up and improve their Raptors first before they even consider involving a T-Rex. However, I did see a headline that T-Rex already sold one of its concepts to a park, but they're not going to say which one. So it's 50-50 at the minute. So T-Rex isn't, it's like 90-10 in favour of it not being true, but there's always that 10% that it could still be on the cards. But from the interview, I think I sort of look at RMC more than a news article. So I kind of think, well, what if it's not a T-Rex? What if it is the world's tallest, fastest and longest single rail coaster, and it'd just be an RMC Raptor, not a T-Rex? So they could still break records with it, Great Adventure. but I don't think it's going to be sort of that record-breaking like a T-Rex. But I think a Raptor is still like the world's longest, tallest, fastest, and maybe even most inverting Raptor single roller coaster in the world. That would still be a real record breaker. I think it looks pretty much likely that it's going to go on a site near El Toro. It's not going to be replacing El Toro, thank God, even though people have said it's rough. People have their own opinions. I've seen different reviews. They've said it's good. I've seen other reviews. People say it's bad, really rough. Don't get angry both sides with me. I'm not going to pick a side over El Toro because I haven't experienced it myself, so I need to experience it myself in order to pick a side. But at least it's not replacing it, so they can just try and, if the people that aren't happy with it saying it's rough, just, you know, retrack a few bits, make it smoother, or just smoothen it out a bit. But at least El Toro fanboys and fangirls are happy that it's not leaving the park, because it wasn't really on the cards for leaving the park in the first place, to be fair. But the construction area looks as if it's going to be round that El Toro area, and the Raptor looks as if it could interact with El Toro as well. But either way, it's going to be fantastic. So if it's round that El Toro area, but near Zumanjaro, is it going to be sort of part of the El Toro sort of mini area? Or is it going to be starting off near the Golden Kingdom, where Zumanjaro, Kingdom Car is, things like that? So there's all those questions to answer in the few months' time, but we'll sort of get to that when we get to it. Speaking of RMC Raptors, there are a few other Six Flags parks that I could see RMC Raptors going to. Six Flags St. Louis has been in the talks for quite a few bit of weeks now about apparently getting an RMC Raptor for 2020. At last, Six Flags St. Louis could get a coaster from original, not just a hand-me-down from Six Flags America or something, or whatever Six Flags Park the Boomerang came from in 2013. You know, we're getting a good original coaster at Six Flags St. Louis, maybe. Six Flags New England, it's their 150th anniversary apparently, 140th, I can't remember. I think it's 140th, something like that. So it's an anniversary of Six Flags New England, but many people have commented saying Six Flags don't pay attention to anniversaries. Great Adventure, when it was their anniversary a few years back, they only upgraded the park and didn't add any new rides from scratch. So again, there is that argument there of, will they actually celebrate it with a coaster, or will it just be a year of shows? I mean, Great America, 40 seasons of thrill celebration, bringing 3 kiddie rides back, so it wasn't really a thrilling year for Great America in that year in 2015. But again, there is that argument that it could be, I don't know. There was talk of Six Flags Mexico getting one at some point as well, so that would be a good fit for Mexico. I think Mexico are really building up that park now. It all started with that spinning coaster that used to be known as Pandemonium at Six Flags at a different park, and of course it came to Mexico as the Joker. Then they sort of added more attractions and more attractions. The SNS 4D Free Spin, the Wonder Woman coaster as well. 2019 they're getting 2 kiddie areas, so DC Super Friends and Bugs Bunny Boomtown. So they could go back to that coaster year in 2020 with the RMC Raptor. So there's plenty of possibilities they could go with this. So finally, in our top 10 2020 best coaster years, again, there's other projects. There's Polton's Park's 2020 area with a possible coaster. There was Knott's Berry Farms talk of a big major attraction to the south of Ghost Rider. There was plenty of talk. Lagoon possibly getting a 2020 coaster called Primordial. There was all of that. But this is just the top 10 in my opinion from what I know already. And now the last one, the big main draw for 2020, and that is the 150th anniversary for Cedar Point. And now I'm not going to talk much about this one because I already did a video on what I think Cedar Point should do for the 150th anniversary. So make sure you go and check out that video after this video. Put it on your watch later list or whatever thing you've got on your YouTube. But I'm just going to sort of talk briefly about this. So I said in that video, I think either a new coaster like a Gersar Infinity or a GCI Dueling Inverted, the new concept that was released at IAAPA. I'm going to rule out a T-Rex, even though that would be awesome. I don't think they're going to get the polar coaster either that was planned for Orlando. I don't think Cedar Point will get a polar coaster. It just doesn't suit the park, in my opinion. Even though it would look good with a nice Cedar Point logo on top of the tower, I don't think it would suit. However, I do feel as if they could add that on top of a family invert and a wild mouse as part of the boardwalk section. Now, of course, there was the recent construction image from the boardwalk. Some sand's from the beach. Apparently some sand's been laid out at the beach, which could suggest a boardwalk section with a few family and thrill rides, including a Mack Wild Mouse and maybe a family invert from B&M, I don't know. But 3 coasters, apparently the Cedar Point bosses said they want to outdo Steel Vengeance, and it's going to be so hard to outdo Steel Vengeance. 3 coasters and a full boardwalk, could that be enough? Yeah, ish. I mean, maybe it could be overhyped, I don't know. But we'll have to see what happens with that. Again, I've got a full video on explaining all of that and what they could do, but it's going to be very difficult to sort of outdo Steel Vengeance. Of course, there was many. Now, 2020, that sounds like a massive year from all of that, plus many more that I didn't mention, like I said. There are a couple of one rumoured switch around and one confirmed switch around. Of course, we talked about Zadra possibly moved to 2019. I've already said my piece on that. It isn't a good move. Keep it with the rest of the area. Give guests the full experience next year. Groner Lund's B&M Invert's been moved to 2021 because of something to do with the planning, I think, or the finance. I'm not too sure. And of course, they removed one of the last inversion and just put in a straight bit of track. But from the plans, it still looks good, and I'm kind of glad Groner Lund did that, because I know what I'm about to say wasn't the case of Groner Lund moving it to 2021. I know this isn't the case, but in my personal opinion, I'm glad they did it, because in my opinion, it's going to be a very underrated coaster for the whole investments in the world. Even Europe, Zadra could beat the invert, but now it's going in 2021, depending on what other parks are investing in Europe in 2021 in terms of thrill coasters. Groner Lund could be the part to watch in 2021, whereas if you kept it in 2020, then it would be very underrated and very away from the microscope. If you've got a massive microscope, one of those science ones, and you sort of see all those massive investments under the microscope, Groner Lund in 2020 would be sort of away from the microscope, but in 2021's microscope, it would be dead right in the centre for European investments. So I'm kind of glad they sort of pushed that back an extra year. But there we go. So final decision then, is 2020 the best year for roller coasters? One word, yes. In fact, 2 words, hell yes. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be full of investments for the UK, for Europe, for America. I'm sure China and Japan will want to get involved and do some massive investments. I'm sure there's plenty of investments planned already. I think there's an SNES 43 spin and a Vekoma coaster being planned for World Fairy Tale Land over in China in 2020. So, and again, they're already getting involved. I mean, parks are even getting involved this year in 2019 with the B&M Hyper, the music roller coaster over at a Happy Valley. I think it's a Happy Valley Park in China. So they're really going at it here, China and Japan. They're really going out there with the massive investments year upon year. But of course, things like this, plans can change, investments can change, dates can change, construction times will change. Anything can change between now and the end of the year. So by the time the announcements come out, we'll sort of know more about things and stuff like that. Hershey Park could be set to reveal more sort of info about the hypercoaster this year. So I think the plan for Hershey Park is they're releasing their hypercoaster and sort of more details about the whole Chocolate Town thing in stages throughout 2019 until they get the final announcement down. And it's like, right, we've got the final announcement in. Let's get straight on with this and get it open 2020. CGA, California's Great America. I'm so glad they're moving forward with that expansion. Looks set for 2020, I think. So it'd be nice. Again, could be an underrated investment with Kings Island doing a giga. Cedar Point could be getting pretty much getting a coaster. Knott's Berry Farms rumored to get a coaster. So for the Cedar Fair chain, California's Great America could be under the radar a bit as well. But there's no doubt about it. California's Great America is going to be a good investment with this 210-foot hyper or whatever it's going to be. So there we go. So that is the end of this video. I cannot wait for 2020. I can't wait for 2019, let alone 2020, and then 2021. 2022 is already looking good with the Energylandia Vekoma launch coaster that could be pushed forward an extra year again with the rumour. and Tony's Chocolate World over in the Netherlands could be doing an indoor coaster. Each year we seem to be getting massive investments announced and getting ready for that season. So I love doing theme park YouTubing because you never know what's going to hit your direction. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. And for now, my name is Coaster Chal. Keep living the coast life, dudes, and I'll see you guys in another video. Take care. Have an awesome day.
Attention all drivers, please exit on the left-hand side of the cars, and remember to take all your personal belongings and baggage with you. And don't forget to check out your race photo, available directly opposite the race exit. Thank you. Hello everyone, may I have your attention please? We are pleased to inform you that Rita is up and running again. Therefore, for those of you wishing to experience the sheer exhilaration of accelerating from 0 to 100 in less than 3 seconds, then you are now free to do so. We hope you enjoy taking part in the Thunder Rock Rally and Rita, Queen of Speed.